is Genevieve Tucker. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Northern Static series on CFUR 88.7 FM. You can find us online at cfur.ca. We're broadcasting from the traditional unceded territory of the Kitley First Nation, and this initiative is made possible by the Community Radio Fund of Canada. Okay, today we have a very special guest, and for our introduction, I asked our mutual friend, Tori Barham, who's been a huge part of our music scene over the years, from kind of starting the same time as our guest today. So I asked her to describe Corbin Spensley in one sentence, and this was her response, word for word. It's not possible for me to write a sentence about Corbin and his music. However, the first words that come to mind are raw, unpretentious, dynamic, captivating, and just like really, really good. I can't remember the first time I ever saw Corbin perform, but it was probably at Growly's Pizza, R.I.P., and it was definitely with painstaking. Even as a 15-year-old kid, Corbin knew how to command a room. He makes you shut up and pay attention. And while the style of music has changed over the years, that characteristic remains constant. Corbin's voice is one of my favorites. I remember listening to a tape of a Big Old Eyes song that he sang lead on over and over and over again when we were teenagers because I couldn't get enough of it. There's a rawness there, an ability to turn what starts delicately into something with a rough, nasally edge verging on a scream, but still clear as a bell. The man knows how to enunciate. He's one of those frustrating people who seems to learn any instrument and play it well in a short amount of time. He writes songs that get stuck in your head because they're catchy, but also because they're true. He's the most fun to watch perform because it's absolutely clear that he is having a lot of fun while doing it. He commits fully, whether he is singing on a stage or in a creek, playing bass, playing drums, screaming around in a mosh pit. Like I said, dynamic. It's been such a gift to watch this crazy talented kid grow and continue to explore and create music, which in my completely objective and unbiased opinion always sounds really friggin' perfect. Corbin Spensley, welcome to the Northern Static series.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, and thank you, Tori, for that wonderful intro.
Isn't that nice?
That is really nice.
A sentence turned into a whole page of words. Who better to describe that? That's someone that's been there for a long time throughout your music journey, right?
Throughout most of it, yeah.
In your words, who the heck are you? Tell us about you.
My name is Corbin. I play music, which is why I'm here. Other than that, I'm just a guy. I think I said that in there earlier. Yeah, I'm just a guy that plays music. I live in Prince George.
Are you from here?
I'm from here, yeah. I grew up here. I've lived most of my life here, finding my way back here, kind of no matter where I might travel or end up, it seems to be home, at least so far.
Can you take us back to the beginning of music? What kind of first drew you into start playing? And
beginning of music would have been earliest memories, honestly. Yeah, earliest memories with my family. My mom and dad both played, grandparents played, and music was always a big thing, whether it was being played or being listened to. So music was just always there. Yeah, it's just kind of always been there since.
What kinds of music were your family like playing back in the day?
Everything from Michael Jackson, Elton John, the Eagles.
Classics.
I love the Nylons, actually, oddly enough. I'm thinking about that. The Nylons is kind of an awkward group to say that you love, but when I was a kid, I liked the vocal harmony.
Yeah.
And all of that jumped out at me. I can remember that as a kid for sure. So like a big mix, a little bit of everything. We always had a piano in the house. My dad played piano and guitar when I was a kid. It's just always kind of been there.
What was your first instrument that you kind of gravitated towards?
The first instrument I really played was probably the piano. There were guitars around when I was a kid and never knew how to play them, but probably like air guitared with them quite a bit. Continued playing piano up until that was like not cool anymore. You know, I wanted to play electric guitar and electric bass.
Did you take lessons?
I did take lessons, yeah. Starting with piano, and I had a great guitar teacher. Took lessons from this guitar teacher. Her name was Diane McKillop. We had a nice group of people, and she encouraged people to play in bands and to to learn all the different parts. So those are my first real performances and playing in bands. It's like a rock school.
That's
kind
awesome.
of vibe. Like, I can remember playing a packed house at the elementary school gymnasium during the assembly. Like everybody had to be there. They were forced to go, which was awesome. A packed house, everybody loved it.
So I went on a deep dive on the internet.
Okay.
And tried to scrape up any and all information I could about you. I feel like a detective, and I've also been like messaging friends and different people that have been around the music scene, like similar timelines, and it's been really interesting. I've learned a lot.
Okay.
I've learned a lot, but I still feel like there's so much more to learn about you and your timeline. I was gonna like draw a roadmap of like, there's a lot.
I guess so, yeah.
Maybe you don't think so, but then when we reflect on all of the groups today, you'll be like, yeah, there's a lot going on. There isn't like a ton of information out there. It's hard to find. But there's just enough to showcase you in your youth in like so many different bands playing at a bunch of different venues around town. Okay, so here's what I did find. First, I found a super cool video of you with your band Painstakes at Growley's Pizza back in 2003, I think, and you have like a sky high mohawk.
There's a lot of those going around back then. Yeah,
you're just killing it. It's a really good video. Whoever took it did a great job too of like capturing the whole essence of the place. Anyway, so you're fairly young, I would say, like 15-ish,
something like that. Yeah.
How was that for you, like that whole like punk era of Prince George? Like, I've heard lots about it. I wasn't a part of it myself, so what was that like for you? Or do you remember that time?
I do remember that. The punk thing was like nothing I ever knew or had been exposed to, like I'd ever seen before. I was playing in groups at that time, like through the people I met and knew through that music school that I mentioned. And, we were learning all kinds of folk country songs, and I recall that we were putting together more, like I think we had played like Tony Hawk Pro Skater on N64. And the soundtrack on that is like awesome. So introduced to tons of new music, punk bands that I never knew. I never knew about that genre really. Some from my older brother, I guess. But that time it just kind of started becoming more interesting. Like, wow, there's this crazy music that has attitude that I'm looking into at that time. And we were kind of into like pretty pop punk stuff at that time, and that was like, whoa, wow, that's pretty wild stuff. and I think getting to that at that age, I went to a show with my bandmates at the time that were kind of doing like this pop punk kind of, we were kind of preppy kids doing this like bopping around thing. And then we went to a show at Growley's Pizza. We're like the youngest people there, and it was just nuts. Like people are flying across the room, hammering into each other, just moshing like crazy. And they're all like huge, and they've got crazy hair, and they're wearing metal all over their jackets, thrashing around the room, flying across the room, but not in like a violent way. You'd look at that from the outside and you'd be like, oh my, this is dangerous. These guys are gonna, what are these guys doing? Everybody there's so much camaraderie and friendship and caring and love.
Taking care of each other.
So just like blown away by that. And like the music was heavy, and it was maybe punk, metal, hardcore bands that were coming through town. Like we had people coming through town at that time from all over the province and the country, and playing at Growley's Pizza in this little tiny pizza shop, that you'd think 20, 30 people could maybe comfortably eat pizza in there, but there would be like 120 people in there. Like you could see it all from the front windows. The stage was in the front windows. It backed out on the street. The street was just full of punks and metalheads getting up to no good and having the best time. It would be a hot summer day, and all these people would be jammed in watching this music. It would be like 45 degrees in there or something. Just sweat dripping everywhere, like stinky, gross people thrashing around, having the best time. And we looked at, and we kind of like looked at each other and we're like, our music sucks. This music is so cool. Like it's so hardcore. Like we have to like play heavier music. Our music sucks. So we kind of like, we started doing that, and we started putting on our own shows. They wouldn't really let us play at Growley's Pizza. They're like, who are these kids? Blah, blah, blah. Like, so we started playing shows at like venues like the Art Space, where we put it all on together, and we'd run the whole thing, like with tons of help from our parents, of course, because we're just kids and can't do anything, to put on a rock and roll show by yourself. So, and then eventually people started coming to the shows. We'd be at the movie theater, like putting out handbills. We'd be at the mall putting out handbills, like we're playing the show, and putting up posters.
Because how else would you?
And that's how you did it. Yeah, and people started coming to our shows, and then people started asking us to play, to open for these bands that were coming through town, and then opening for other local bands. And yeah, eventually we just kind of were packing the house and having an awesome time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask you how your family felt about the shift in, I guess, changing into like a punk, more heavier sound.
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, supportive folks, for
Cool.
sure. My dad shaved my mohawk for the whole time, pretty much. So I had a mohawk, and everybody was on board, and basically helped every way they could.
So what was the band called before Painstaches with your friends?
Well, it's like it goes through those cycles of changing band names.
Totally.
So we were I think we were next to nothing, no parking. No parking was a big one. That was when we were really bopping in the kind of pop punk world.
Yeah.
And we spent a while with that name, no parking. We needed a way tougher name. So Painstaches it was, yeah.
The next one I found was a video of Big Old Eyes. It's quite grainy. It's hard to tell, but I was like, I feel like this is Art Space.
Yeah, we played a lot in Art Space back in the day. That was one of the main venues. Yeah.
Totally.
And that was probably after Growly's Pizza closed, I think.
Kind of like alt rock vibes, kind of.
Out of that group?
Yeah.
There? Yeah. That was a bunch of us from the punk scene. And just as your taste kind of changed, the songwriter, Rob Dunlop from that group, he was in the mosh pits with us through all this. And, his taste kind of started changing into this more kind of little more musicality involved, but with an edge all the while. We were all hanging out and kind of just had that band put together.
Yeah, we have a lot of Rob's music on our archives.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, tons of good stuff.
I think he spent a lot of time at the station here over the years. Like, he was quite involved on and off, I think.
Yeah.
And his archive of music is, like, huge.
After that, I think the next one that I found was Canadian Waste.
Yeah, I think there was I was playing with a bunch of different people over the years, like in those years. And we had a band, I can't remember if we actually called it Tiny Little Broom.
I have that up there too.
Or if we called it Tiny Little Boom.
I have written down Tiny Little Boom.
So I think I don't remember honestly which one it was, but it was like someone mishearing what that. And so I don't know which one was real. Yeah, Tiny Little Broom or Tiny Little Boom. I don't know. I don't know which one I would pick now, actually, if I had to decide. But that was fun. Those were some buds that I knew through the music shop that I was working at the time. The buds that I knew from the shop we were doing the music in the Tiny Little Boom days. We played, actually, where I remember playing with those guys is Growly's building, but under a different name. It was Growly's shut down. It was empty for a while. Music just kind of seemed to go through that space, and it was another pizza shop afterwards that I remember playing. I think it might have been, they did some open mics there, and I think I think they did some Cold Snap shows there even way back in the day.
Okay.
At Pizza Rico's it was at that time.
Canadian Waste. Let's talk about Canadian Waste.
Sure.
Well.
That was a fun era. That was kind of like that kind of progression from the punk rock stuff through to the kind of more of the indie stuff, electric instruments with that kind of acoustic instruments, folk instruments, with that same kind of grit. And that was kind of like, there wasn't really much going on. That wasn't really happening much that I knew of at that time, like at least in our community, like that kind of folk punk. So that kind of was something new that we were doing at that time. And it's just, it's all the same songs, or not all the same songs, but it could be the same songs. You can play a song. If it's a song with a melody and a hook and words, you can play it on this, or you can play it on that. You can play it fast.
Totally.
You can shout it. You can sing it sweetly. So we kind of just got into that, more strummy acoustic guitars. I think I was playing banjo.
There's a banjo.
I was playing banjo at that time. I think I was probably inspired to get a banjo by Raghu Lokanathan, probably, because they were playing around quite a bit that day at that time. That's actually they were playing at some smaller shows around that time. But yeah, I think that might be kind of where I got into the banjo thing, which actually now I recall Raghu trying to teach me different drop thumb techniques on the 5-string banjo, but honestly I was more of a strummer on it, strumming it, and and just like wailing the vocals is kind of my role in that, I think, rather than like, you know, any type of virtuosic banjo playing. It was really just a strumming tool. So it was basically just a guitar with a weird little string on the top, tuned a little differently.
And that was kind of like in the Riley's Pub days.
Yeah,
hey?
yeah. The Riley's Pub was there's some good stuff going on in there. I don't know what it was. A lot of things. It was it's not there anymore. It's where the pool is now. And that's another kind of thing where I don't really remember anything going on there. Like, it wasn't really the place to be. It wasn't really the place that was doing music, but there wasn't really anything else. Like, we didn't have anywhere else that was really doing it. You know, in the kind of alternative world that we would have been in. Like, there would have been, back at that time, there would have been like cover bands doing like the bar circuit in the clubs, you know, which doesn't really happen anymore. Like that, we don't see those guys, like the bar circuit of cover bands that go around. We don't, you know, that's kind of gone, which is kind of unfortunate. Like, not that it's my favorite style of music to see or hear or support,
it would be nicer to see a live band than just like you know, background music or whatever.
So but there would be bands in every bar, you know, every weekend. I don't know why that's not a thing anymore. I don't think anybody wants to pay money to keep people on the road to perform, you know. It's just, I think people are just lazy and cheap.
Yeah, it's sad. You would have hoped that that would have, I don't know, increased over time and not decreased.
You know, that was going on. And then with Riley's, it was like, you know, we don't do that thing. Like, we're writing our own material for the most part, and doing something a little bit different. The Riley's was just a place to get that done and make it happen. I had another memory in there about playing with Jeremy Paul. And that was right before Riley's, when Jeremy Paul and I had our residency at the Croft as Empty Pockets, I think. And I was also playing banjo at that time. That was kind of in and around.
Just the two of you?
Just the two of us, yeah. I met Jeremy in front of Northern Hardware, and he was playing his wooden flute.
Like he was just busking?
Busking, and I came down to busk with my banjo. Did a lot of busking in that time. That was like pretty big. Like, there was tons of places around PG to do busking, and there was people that you would know from the busking scene. Like, there were people that were well known and well recognized in the scene as the guy that busks at this place. Like, Downtown Dave was the one fella there that I think I saw busking and was, you know, like, oh, this seems like a really cool way to spend a Friday night. Like, standing out in front of the liquor store, warm or cold, sunny or rainy, you know, making a couple bucks.
And that doesn't happen anymore either.
And that doesn't happen anymore either.
I haven't seen a busker in years.
But yeah, we used to busk all the time. That was a big thing. And so I met Jeremy there, and we said, hey, well, we're both here. Let's play. So we just started jamming, like, whatever. And he was playing flute, I was playing banjo. And then he says, hey, I know about this gig at the Croft. We can play 3 sets a night all week from like Monday to or Tuesday to Sunday or something like that. 4 sets on Saturday for a matinee.
The Vegas residency.
Yeah, so that was pretty big. We had a lot of fun doing that.
How much were you getting paid, if you don't mind me asking?
The two of us did all week 3 sets a night for $1,000.
Well,
and they fired us when we asked for more money. And they said, you'll always be a $1,000 band. You'll never be anything more than $1,000 a week band. Beat it. And then we did.
How long did you do for?
We did at least 2 or 3. Like, not all back to back, but a week here, a week there, a week there. Right before we came in there, they had been, like, it had been a strip club. Like, there was a stripper pole on the stage. It is on the stage. There would be a stripper pole right in front of us, and people would, you know, the people that were enjoying, finally, once they, like, stopped heckling us, they would be dancing around the pole and having a good time. But, they heckled us hard.
They throw things at you?
Especially me. But it was good. I learned a lot.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I love it.
We had to play with a drum machine because people wanted to beat, they wanted to dance. So we got heckled so hard. And Jeremy, you know, he's knows what's up. He got a drum machine and he had it on his foot, and he would play the same 4 on the floor beat for most of our songs. Maybe just the tempo up or down a little bit. And then when we got the drum machine, we were like favorites. Like, everybody was dancing, having a good time. Like,
and this is all like original music too?
No, we played a lot of covers. Yeah. We had
3
a
hours,
book.
That's a long time.
We had a book of songs that we both liked, and he would do the Cash and I would do the Fogerty. That was kind of how that worked.
I love it. And then we're kind of moving into what I think the timeline is there's a lot. Power duo.
Yeah.
I found another video of, I don't know if this project left this video or if it continued on, The Willow and the Fern.
That was, that I forgot about that altogether. That was just a friend of mine, Nita. We were just living out at a property out on a farm with a few people, kind of in and out, and we were just playing and singing and writing songs together, kind of co-writing stuff together. We didn't really do much out and about with that, but we played up and here and there, jumped up, did a few songs here, depending on where it was happening. Yeah.
And you've supported a lot of other artists in their bands, Kim Gucci, Big Fancy, Apples. Is there anything else that I'm missing that you want to add that we can mark down in the?
Pretty much covers it. Yeah, from there, doing the Canadian Waste stuff to Power Duo with Naomi Kapka, which was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. We recorded our album here at CFUR.
Yeah.
Actually, and then pretty much, I think that pretty much covers it. With Apples, I think I might have been one of the early drummers in the whole thing. I didn't really know her, but she'd seen me play doing other stuff, and then she heard that I played drums, and she kind of phoned me out of nowhere and said, hey, do you want to do this little tour up north to do Dawson Creek, Fort St. John? And we'd never played together. And she just was and it was minus 30, and she's like, put your drums in there, and you get your drums in the truck, and we'll go, and we'll play these shows like Rolla and at the Rolla pub. Yeah. Which isn't open any longer, sadly. And that was a lot of fun. And then we played a few different things here and there, and tried to get some recordings going for Apples that just didn't really work out. It didn't obviously match the vision. I don't know if you've heard, I'm sure, her album. It's fantastic.
Most recent stuff, not back in the day. Yeah.
So what we were kind of working at, we were chipping away at it, trying to get something going, but where she's at now, she's sort of found what she's looking for, which is great. But happy to be involved along the way. Kim Gucci and Northern Sky, which was a lot of fun, and Kim Gucci, holy man, wow, such cool time for her.
Totally.
What a
Juno nominee.
What an honor, to know her and have played with her, even, and Big Fancy, the same, doing awesome work,
And now you're with Scribbins, playing with Scribbins.
Playing with Scribbins now, playing drums.
Yeah, let's talk about Scribbins.
Yeah, Scribbins is dope. Scribbins is my friends Nigel and Clay, whom I've known for quite a long time. Nigel played in Canadian Waste. Nigel played drums and among other instruments in Canadian Waste. And Clay was our friend, I think, Clay and Nigel go back further even, but, Clay was around that whole time we were doing the Canadian Waste stuff. Within the last several years, we just kind of started playing and thought it was a lot of fun, and we kind of wanted to make this punk band. And that's kind of the most serious I've kind of gotten into the drums yet. People ask me what my main instrument is, and I'm like, well, if you're gonna see me playing these days, it's probably gonna be the drums, because that's kind of sort of what I'm doing most of these days.
Yeah, do you favor one over the other, kind of being the front person in the band, singing, or
I don't know if I
drums,
would say that if I favor one or the other. One thing I like about the drums is not necessarily being the one that has to address the audience. So one thing I like about being on the drums is that you don't have to think about what to say or
totally
be the one that has that role. Not that I don't like being in that role or dread that role. It's not that at all. It's just kind of nice to sit back sometimes and not have that on your plate,
Totally.
Just wait for your cue and then
just play the damn song.
Play the damn song. Exactly.
So far, what's a few defining moments for you that kind of stand out that you really have enjoyed, whether that be from different tours or festivals or just shows in general that have stood out to you over the years?
Packing the house, no matter what,
yeah.
The defining moments is when it's packed and people are
in it.
Yeah, just when the house it's packed house and people are crowding the stage and it's shoulder to shoulder, whether it's a huge venue or a little venue, but people are just right there up front, and I feel lucky that I've had a lot of that. Yeah, there's been no shortage of opportunities to like crowd surf off the front of the stage on the people jam packed shoulder to shoulder, so I feel pretty lucky about that. Have that many people wanting to be there and wanting to participate and listen and watch the show.
What about now, like your own personal, like your solo project? You've played a few shows and festivals recently where you've had the full band with you playing your music. How's that been? Where are you at right now?
I love where that band is going. It's like it's what I want to do, and we've been doing it some, but I think I would like to be better at organizing myself and putting time into myself.
Yeah.
I feel like it's easier, and I've felt easier and more comfortable kind of just going along for the ride rather than doing the work and making something happen for my own music.
Totally.
It's also kind of tough to be in charge. And I love playing with I've always loved playing with people that I'm close with, but then it's also just easy to hang out with your buddies and slack off on the music.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You have a lot of fun, but it's I've not really ever treated it. I've always treated it more like fun than like work, I think.
It is hard, and then when you have your life pulling you in so many different directions too, it's tricky. I find that with me as well. I find my own stuff definitely suffers more because there's just so many other things that are happening and different projects. But I think I can speak for a lot of people who know you and have heard your music, and I think we all feel that we would love to see more of you.
I thank you for that. I would love to do more, and I would love to do more. I don't even have any music available. It's people tell me that to record and stuff, but I think it's hard to get myself motivated to do stuff for myself. It's I don't know, it's probably some kind of self-sabotaging thing that I'm doing, but it's just kind of hard to get going. And I'm also really critical of myself as well, and like we were talking about earlier, things like this, it's easy for me to just put it out there and get it done. But if I go into it and start looking at it under a microscope, I'm just never gonna be happy. I'm just gonna pick it apart, and it kind of it's too much. It takes all of the fun and the feeling out of it,
Maybe recording a live off the floor band all in,
that's
everybody all in one go.
Definitely my style.
Yeah.
And that's my style over nitpicking on one track at a time. I also like that style because it's the way that things were done, when some of the best music, in history was recorded all in one pop, everybody together.
One weekend, whole record's done.
You get, maybe you're lucky maybe if you can get to do the take twice, do the song twice, you just nail it and that's what you get. I think musicians were better at that time in that day as well.
You had to be.
You had to be. Yeah. Got it a little too easy these days, maybe. And that's how we recorded our Scrivens album.
Yeah, it
took us forever. Because, it took us forever to get the takes we wanted, but we got them.
The energy's there.
Yeah.
It's great. It plays at CFUR all the time. Let's talk about your songwriting. How do you find your craft working? Is it something that you're constantly thinking about, or does it come in spurts?
It comes in spurts for sure. I don't think about it unless there's something that's just playing through my head that I can't keep from my head. A lot of the songs I've written are that way, that the hook is there and it's in your head and you can't stop repeating it round and around. So I'm not really one that would sit down and say, this is the song that I'm making and this is how it goes. I kind of like, I'm more let it become what it is on its own, kind of. Sometimes I'll have written a song and I'll finish the song and then I'm like, oh my God, and then something happens in your life or something and you're like, oh, so that's what that song's about. Like,
it's like a subconscious thing.
It's not even like you're writing about a certain thing. You're just kind of writing about, or the song is about everything. It's about life, like open to interpretation. And sometimes you, like even me, will interpret it differently. A month down the road, something happens or it hits a certain way, or a year goes by and you're like, oh, that's what that is about. They're mostly sparked by pain, I think. I wouldn't say I have any joyous songs. Even the new things can happen with the songs. Like, I would never even say this is done. You know, like some of them I'm really happy with, but if something were to change, like if they can still change now. I'm not set on it being the way it is forever. Most songs take me like quite a while to write, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I don't really churn them out. I got quite a few that I've written over the years, but I wouldn't say I have a ton that I've written recently. Honestly, there's some that are going through my head, and yeah, and then they kind of develop here and there, and then I make the mistake of like playing them before they're even done, and then that kind of like, I'm like, oh, I guess that's just how it goes now, but then also things that can change, and then you add a new part or change a part, and then it becomes what it is kind of through time.
Well, I've got a few like quick, rapid round questions.
Uh-oh.
They're nothing scary. If your music had a flavor, what would it taste like?
It would be salty.
Tears.
Tears, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing because your music makes me cry.
Me too.
Not in a bad way. In a beautiful way. But I'm not a beautiful crier, though, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Most
it's like
of
a
them,
sob.
Most of them, the ones that make it, the songs of mine that make it, I'm usually crying at some point while I sing them.
That's heavy. That's a lot to carry on stage. It's hard to...
Sometimes it's really awkward, actually, yeah. Because you never know when it's going to happen, really. Yeah, sunglasses can be valuable.
Totally. Helps if you're playing outside, I guess.
For sure.
What's a non-musical passion that inspires your creativity?
For just friendship and, camaraderie and, like, togetherness.
What's the weirdest gig you've ever played?
I don't know. I say yes to a lot of weird stuff. It's usually about who is like throwing the gig, like who's putting it on. Like I've played some gigs where I don't really jive with the person putting it on. Like I've played some awkward like houses where I'm like, you do like kind of a house show, like on the other side of the country or whatever, and you're like doing the string of those tours that you go on for some reason because you think it's going to be good, but you just like are broke across the country. And then you end up like playing these house shows and you're like, we got to go. Like we got to go. This is weird. Don't feel great here right now. Yeah. Those types of things. So those are probably the worst. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like in their house.
Yeah. Any gig where you have to go right away after is the worst kind.
Any specific scenarios you want to share?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Any pre-show rituals that you partake in before?
Getting super nervous and anxious, pacing, high kicks. High kicks are great, actually.
Yeah. Even
if you're like going to go up and play acoustic guitar, like you just do a couple high kicks in the back, like just get the blood moving, amp yourself up. Getting amped up, like whether it's nerves or like anxiety, just like those types of things.
If you had to describe your music using only 3 words, what would they be?
I'm so bad at these hypothetical questions.
I know.
I've always been bad at them.
We don't have to do it.
You don't want to. Let me just rip them off here. Let's rip them out. 3 words to describe my music. Energetic, angry, sad.
Final question for today. What keeps you writing and performing music?
I think to entertain people and to give them something to feel about, and also just an outlet and a release for myself as well.
Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Don't think so. I guess just to say thanks for inviting me to come up here and do this, and for taking an interest in all this stuff we talked about, and thanks for taking an interest in my music.
Thank you. Thanks so much for agreeing to do this. We're really happy to have you. Yeah.
I'm happy to be here, yeah.
Thanks for spending time with us in studio for the Northern Static series on CFUR 88.7 FM. That's a wrap. Yay!
So carefree, no one needs me now. I don't hear a sound. Oh, oh, oh. I don't feel so lonely when you come around to talk me down. Didn't hear that lonesome whistle sound till the hills they bend the river round behind my house, but closer to the ground. train will go straight back and forth till the end of time, but nothing more, confined by what the tracks were put there for. Blow me that whistle again. Time will take away what it gave to you yesterday, forevermore. They say time heals almost every pain, but in time some pain comes back again. A clock ticks twice a day and it reads the same. See the noonday horses run in the last rays of the daylight sun, clouded by the moon and scared, I grabbed the gun. Time will take away what it gave to you yesterday, forevermore. There's these melodies in the sky, they don't ask for much. They'll last your lifetime, but nevermore. Nevermore. In a dream I had last night, I saw you sleeping, dreaming, the way you're curled up warm this night. Not a care, it was seeming a long time from now. You were water flowing, a long chain stretched out, a solitary being. I knelt down just to be next to you. I could hear what you were saying. Then the water, it filled my head. You woke and spoke. You thought I was dead. Don't you go to sleep, baby. I need you here. I need you here with me, baby. Can't do it alone now. Do it alone now. Don't you leave, baby. I need you here. I need you here with me, baby. Can't do it alone now. Do it alone now. And there's nothing I can do then go back to sleep, dreaming of you. A long time from now, you were wind that's blowing, a thin string stretched out, a solitary being. I look down over the edge and think something's speaking to me. And the wind picked up and said, I can see you now, all the worry and dread. Don't you go to sleep, baby. I need you here with me, baby. Can't do it alone now, do it alone now. Don't you leave, baby. I need you here with me, baby. Can't do it alone now, do it alone now. There's nothing I can do than fall back asleep, dreaming with you in a dream I had last night. If it's important to you, and it's important to me, if we should find ourselves alone and shivering, would you come stand by me? Your winning ticket, my friend, floats off in the breeze. Your winning ticket, my friend, floats off in the wind. Maybe it'll finally happen. I'll drink away everything I ever had. I'll be this shitty, useless piece of shit, angry drunk guy at the party, pissing his pants all night, making everybody so mad. Your winning ticket, my friend, floats off in the breeze. Your winning ticket, my friend, floats off in the wind. Floats off in the breeze. I am bummed out, upset. I'm not feeling my best to do whatever is ever required. I am strung out, it could be most likely depressed, feeling so awfully tired. So I play these chords of a strung out sword. I play these chords as a last resort. I play these same chords, these same old broken chords. Not not quite knowing what they're for. There's this voice in my head that's explaining instead which way is up or down. But however, how right it affects not the plight when my frown is spinning me round. Oh, did I mention I'm tired? I'm on fire with no fuel or desire. I'm so tired, I am so goddamn tired. I'm alright, you know I'm alright. I'm alright, I know I'm alright. 'Cause I play these chords of a strung out sort. I play these chords as a last resort. I play these same chords, these same old broken chords. Not quite